Oh. Just so you know, when we start the video, there's a countdown. It's like the beginning of the Indy 500.
Let me do it. Beep, beep, beep.
Yeah, then you know it's time to go.
It's time to go. Good morning. It's Curt and Jen in the morning.
On Wednesday.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, and Jen just back from a fantastic vacation in
San Antonio, Texas,
the Lone
y'all.
Star State, right?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I did not get home until, I think it was 10:45 last night when I got
party animal.
back to my house. So, and then I just didn't sleep well. So I'm feeling very refreshed today.
Well, what everybody wants to know is, when you went to the Alamo, did you actually ask for where the basement was?
Oh, I forgot. And here's why I forgot. I will tell you why I forgot. And it was we were talking about how our trip was a little serendipitous because, number one, we booked our trip not knowing it was Fiesta, which is huge.
Right.
So, yay, we got to experience Fiesta. Number two, when we went to the Alamo, it was Army Day. And so it was a big pomp and circumstance. It was really cool. We got to know the whole history of the Alamo is told by someone in the military, in the Army.
Okay.
And there was I forget what you call them, but they have the rifles, and it's like a drill team, a rifle drill team, and they have the sharp
bayonets.
Yeah. Oh. Throwing them all around. I felt so bad at the very, very end, like when they were getting ready to, they're doing their walkout.
Right.
One of them dropped their weapon.
Oh, it didn't go off, did it?
No, it didn't go off, but I felt so bad. I'm like, are they going to get, they're for sure going to get push-ups, but do they get kicked off the team? I just felt so bad. I wanted to go up to the boss person and just say, they still did a great job. It was just an accident.
I don't think they're going to get push-ups. I think they'll do fine.
Well, I'd be happy if they just got push-ups, but I thought for sure they would get fired.
The deal with the Alamo basement from...
Yeah, I'm sorry I forgot to ask. It was really, we got there and we're like, what is happening here?
Well, it's a big part of the movie Pee-wee's Big Adventure with Pee Wee Herman. So I think the people that got it are like, oh, that'd be hilarious. I'm sure that the people at the Alamo are like, another person saying, hey, where's the basement? But in the movie, Pee-wee thinks his bike is hidden in the basement at the Alamo. Yeah.
I
so he's
watched
on a
that
tour,
movie, but I forgot.
And he's like, when are we going to see the basement? And then Jan Hus goes, there's no basement in the Alamo, silly. And everybody laughs at him. So next chance you get to go to the Alamo and ask that, you can.
When it's not Army Day.
When it's not Army Day.
There was one more serendipitous thing, and now I'm totally forgetting what it was, but it was some big thing that was happening at the event at the place that we were.
Okay.
Like my mind. I hate when I do that.
Let me hear about this new nickname you got while you're on vacation.
Curt.
Yeah.
So there's a conversation that came up with us gals. So there's my friend Carrie and my friend Kristen. And they are very classy. Like they dress very classy, the whole thing. So we were talking about classy, and I'm like, am I classy? Do you think that I would be considered classy?
Classy with a K, yes. That kind of classy.
Guess what the answer was?
You're not classy.
Yeah. And I was so, it's like... They're like, Jen, you're not classy.
I think you are.
You're Sprinkles.
And
that sounds like a stripper nickname is what that is. So the whole rest of the trip, it was Sprinkles. Like, not classy, Sprinkles.
Mm-hmm. We actually, back in the day, remember we had a winner who won a bunch of money from us named Sprinkles.
That's right.
Yeah.
So now I am Sprinkles. Because I am not classy.
Oh, you're classy, Sprinkles.
So I was talking to Pat a little bit about that, my hot firefighter boyfriend, Pat. I'm like, maybe I need to bring some more class into my life. Like, maybe I need to work on being more classy. And he's like, why don't you just own what you are? And the Sprinkles is all about, you bring the fun, you bring the rally, you make things happen, you just bring the sunshine. So...
No, that's all accurate. That is very accurate.
I'm just going to, I guess, own that. And
maybe
I'm just going to start passing out Sprinkles to people.
What if they come up with Sunshine? Would that have been a good nickname? That doesn't sound like a stripper name.
Here's the thing. It was more about not being classy.
Oh.
And, Pat did mention, he's like, babe, you can be classy when you need to be. Like, we went to a retirement party, and he's like, you were classy. You went and talked to people. You held your own.
You know how to be classy. You just choose not to.
Yes. Or maybe I just have to pretend to be when I need to be.
Well,
anyway, just own who you are, I guess, is the bottom line, right?
Yes, own who you are. And you're fine. You can do classy, you can do Sprinkles, you can do Sunshine.
Yeah.
You're all those things. As we mentioned before, Dana and I,
your wife, Dana.
Yeah.
Yes.
On the 21st, we had our 6th wedding anniversary.
Yes.
When I was like, hey, we made it this far. Now No turning back. You know about the 6-year thing. I'm kidding. There's no 6-year thing.
It's the 7-year that you need to worry
the itch.
about.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'll be fine.
Okay, so I love this because Dana came in this morning. We're broadcasting live from Curt's house in Mill Creek, Washington.
Yes.
Which is just, for those listening that aren't in the Seattle area, it's just a little suburb north of Seattle. Right. About, 30 minutes.
So there is and she told me this in the very beginning. This is kind of funny how it happened. From the day we got married, she said, you know what? Michelle and Michael, two of our best friends, they have this tradition where every year on their anniversary, Michelle gets another bracelet. There's a bracelet collection.
I'm just going to say that I think this is a brilliant idea, and I love it, and it's so just so endearing.
Let me show you the bracelets for those who can see.
If you're watching on YouTube,
there we go. I want to make sure you can see. Yeah, it's just a simple.
Yes, we have
a simple gold bracelet right there. Okay. Yeah. So and it's the company is called Yearly Co. It's like every year you get one of these
Yearly
bracelets.
Co. Like Yearly Company, Yearly
which is a neat little tradition. And then you're like, well, I want to do that too, maybe sometime.
They're beautiful, and they're understated bracelets. They're not like these big things. They're like bangles, right?
Right.
And this year, I love this so much. You gave Dana one. Are they typically they're just bangles, right? They're just representing each year you've been married.
This is hard, but if you can see, the closest one there has a D on it, and that's because we lost our little boy, Dexy.
Your dog.
Yeah, not boy. All right, so there you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
I thought that is so great that you guys do that. And Dana was telling me a little bit about the company, that it started by this family whose grandparents, the grandfather always gave the grandmother a bangle. So they decided to make it an official thing and start a company. And I'm going to look it up.
It's a pretty neat little
Yearly Co.
Yearly Co.
Yeah.
All right. Here is a question that came to me, as often does, either late at night when you've just been startled awake or in the shower.
Okay.
Very excited about this. I mean, I'm going to keep the details limited because this is a band you've never heard of. Again.
A band?
A band you've never heard of.
All right.
Going back to my college radio days when I first started in radio. And this is when REM's first album came out, and In Excess was still kind of newish.
Okay.
Well, that's not that long ago. That
was a long time ago.
That was the 80s. All right. So.
Okay.
Band is called Hoodoo Gurus. They're out of Australia.
Okay.
Never
heard of them.
Of course you haven't. I already said that.
I know.
Part.
I'm just confirming that I have not.
But back in the college radio days, when you had these new bands that were coming up, I thought that they were fantastic. And since then, one of my best friends, who is an Australian, is like, well, we gotta go see the Hoodoo Gurus sometime, mate. That was a terrible. Sorry, Michael,
accent.
for that. Yeah, we gotta go see the Hoodoo Gurus.
Got to go see.
Yes. So it turns out that they are going to be in concert, actually here at the Neptune, which is nice. But more importantly, they're going to be in San Diego, and it's going to be a guys' night. 2 or 3 of our friends are getting together to go see the Hoodoo Gurus in San Diego, right? Nice.
Okay.
That's the fun part. This is what I'm getting to. Not me as much. Dana was great, but Michael had to make a deal with his wife to get permission to go to this thing. Like he owes her something.
So this is a guys' trip, is what you're saying.
Right.
A bunch of you guys, including you, are going to go to San Diego to see this band. But you and Dana are seeing it here locally at the Neptune?
No,
is that what's happening?
I may go see them here as well.
That's nothing to do
the
with
guys'
this.
trip is in San Diego.
Okay.
The question is, should you have to make deals with your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend if you want to go do something where it's like, well, yeah, you can go and have your boys' weekend in San Diego and see those, as Dana called them, the Hooter Shooters. That's not.
That's That's a better name. They should change it.
You got to go see the Hooter Shooters. Okay. So
what was the deal he made? Do you know the deal?
I don't know yet. I just know that there's going to be something because Michelle's like, all right, well, you can go, but I was like, oh, great. What's the but going to be? This is Michael's wife.
Oh, she's just using it as leverage. That's what's happening there.
That's what I want to know. Is that fair? Because you'll do a girls' weekend,
sure,
right?
It's fair. Why wouldn't it be?
But if you do a girls' weekend, do you have to say to Pat, hey, I'm going to do a girls' weekend? Can he go, well, you can do that. However, you're going to have to blah, blah, blah in return.
No, Pat would never do that.
I think it's kind of one-sided. If you want,
you think it's just the girls that would do this?
I think that it's just an accepted thing that if you're like, oh, you know what, I'm going to go have a spa day with my friends and blah, 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 blah. And Michael or Pat or myself would say, go have a good time. Mostly because we want to have some time alone.
That's true. Just get out of my hair because then I don't leave a honey-do list. Don't do any of it.
The question is, what have you had to trade, I guess is the word, right, to get what you wanted? So we're going to find out what Michael has to do for Michelle to go to this big guy get together thing, which is going to be a blast. Oh, I forgot. I left out one thing. There is a thing. You're going to go, oh my God, how could you leave this out? They had plans to go to an event on the day that we're doing our guys' weekend, and so
that's a huge detail,
I know,
Curt, because here's the thing with that.
Right.
That's some negotiation now, because there was something already planned on the calendar that's going to affect her now.
Right. But it was super boring and no fun.
So, of course it would be like, I would be, you
owe me.
Yeah. Not in a bad way, but just, hey, you know what? Go on this boys trip, but hey.
See, there it is, but hey.
But hey, and hey, no buts, and hey,
yeah.
Can we make sure that when you're back, we do this to kind of make up for us missing this?
Right.
So that is huge, because he's actually saying, listen, I have this boys trip that I'm going to go on, and I'm going to miss this big event that we have scheduled already on the calendar. Right. And especially if it's been on the calendar for a very long time, right? And it's a very important thing.
Well, this trip for us is not till September 27th. So I think that's a fair amount of notice.
Okay. I'm all about the negotiation then. Like, he should be negotiating because he's asking to get out of something.
I have a feeling that if Dana and I had something planned and she said, oh, Jen's got this thing going on and she wants me to go with Jen and Miriam and whoever else, all your friends, that I'd be like, okay, well, then I'll just go alone or I won't go at all. No fair. I got no power.
I think it's circumstantial. I think it's circumstantial, and you have to take things just with what the details come with it.
Do you remember the Seinfeld episode where George had hand? I've got a hand.
Do you know that I've probably seen a full episode of Seinfeld, but
just one? Okay.
Maybe one or two, but no. So when any Seinfeld references outside of the soup Nazi, then I don't know it.
Well, that's a good one to know then. All right.
I wanted to say, can I mention this for
what's
people?
That?
I know this is for more of the people watching on YouTube, but I'm going to describe it. Curt and Dana have graciously let us Curt and I use this room that used to be Dana's office and your junk room, right?
It was my music room, junk room.
And you've organized it nicely, and I just wanted to mention that organized workspaces make more productive workers.
This is actually supposedly the case.
Big time.
Supposedly the case that if you haven't organized, 8 in 10 people say that they feel more productive if their workplace is organized, even if they're working from bed.
In their bed?
Yeah.
So how do you organize your bed, make your bed, and then work in it?
Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you. There's been times that I was like, you know what? I'm going to, you've got the little laptop holder over your lap, or you're just sitting there in the bed, and it's like, this is a disaster. You have to flatten things out or whatever. Because I do think that there's a mental thing that goes along with it that hey, you know what? I would, even before seeing any data, I would say that's probably the case. And we organized this room mostly because Dana's like, we're not going to have my room showing to the entire world unless it's organized. So I had to organize my part, which means that the guitar is back there instead of
it looks nice.
Yeah.
Can I say something about the pink chair? Dana has this beautifully colored pink chair. Like, it's a really pretty pink. And I tried to sit in it.
Don't say it.
My butt didn't fit in
no,
it very
that
comfortably.
Is true.
No, it didn't. Curt, I had to switch it out. I would sit in that pink chair if it was comfortable, and I had to squish my
You didn't have to squish anything in. It's you know what? When we bought that, we noticed that the
squishy thigh chair.
The tag on the chair said, this is a narrow chair. So there you go.
It did?
No. But
anyway, that didn't make me feel very good. Coming back from San Antonio, we pretty much ate our way through the city.
Which is what you're supposed to do when you're on vacation.
So good.
Let me do the transition music.
Oh my God, that's terrible. I need to put my glasses on for this. I do. Every day, I'm saying what it is. Oh my gosh, you can't get these over. Everyday irritations that you likely experience at least one of today.
Right.
You ready for them? Everyday irritations. And I think we could add to this list.
I am prepared for this. Oh, yes. Okay. So, but there's more. We can add more if we feel like it, right?
So when someone doesn't clean up after their dog, especially if you step in it, that would really ticks me off when people don't clean up after their dog. Like, if I see a dog poop and the owner doesn't clean it up, I'll probably go clean it up myself because I don't want someone else to.
Why wouldn't you say, hey, be a better dog?
I probably would if they were.
The gist of this whole thing is you could be having a great day, like you're in a fantastic mood, and all of a sudden one of these things happens, like, oh, my day is ruined now. So yeah, I would say that's
Not rude. I don't think rude. It's just irritating, and so it kind of just puts a little.
Well, they also
a little meh in your day.
claim people that don't use turn signals, which actually, it doesn't really affect my day.
It does if you are counting or not using your turn signal.
Right.
I mean, turn signals are there for a reason, so you can anticipate what people are doing, and you can be a better offensive driver versus a defensive one.
I don't think it's
Is that
offensive.
right?
I think maybe it's aggressive, but offensive sounds funny. I'm an offensive driver. That's what Dana calls it. She's like, I'm an offensive driver. Well, the thing with the turn signals too is, and this I've said this before, it's like none of us should be doing any of these sort of things on the road. We're all in this together. If people want to switch lanes, you should let them in.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
My thinking is, if you're too lazy to lift your finger, I mean, the signal is right there. You just got to lift your finger a half an inch to turn it on. You're too lazy to even do that to indicate.
Do you use your blinker all the time?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
There's times that sometimes I don't. And
Sometimes I'm in a parking lot and I'm like, I should not have signaled to turn.
I do, and I'll do that sometimes
I'm at
too.
Fred Meyer going,
I over blinker, and sometimes I under blinker.
I over blinker too. How about this one? Bad parkers that take up more than one space.
This really ticks me off. Seriously, especially when you're in a parking lot that parking is limited, and then you're parking like so far. But here's the thing.
What's the thing?
I will say about this.
Please.
You don't know what they experienced before you got there. You don't, because they could have been the person before them could have been over too far, and they needed to park in the spot. So there it is. So I try to give some grace around that, but it is annoying. It's for sure annoying.
Well, when you see a, I don't know, $150,000 car parked taking up two spaces, it's like, okay,
well,
this
that's
person
intentional. That's probably intentional.
Which is why you should probably go up and ding that car accidentally.
Curt Cruz, don't even joke about that kind of thing.
Yes,
well, when I can't remember my password, and you have to go through the whole reset thing, and then then you reset it, and you're like, oh, you can't use that password because you used it in the last 4 years.
Yes.
Oh, okay, let me think of a different one.
Finally, how about the last person in the bathroom? This is a public bathroom, I guess, or it could be at home. Last person in the bathroom uses up the toilet paper and doesn't replace the roll.
That happened when I was on vacation.
Uh-oh, who was it?
Pat.
Oh,
it ended up being Pat, and he's like, oh, babe, I'm so sorry. I got distracted. I came downstairs, and then someone asked me a question. I was going to ask for more toilet paper.
That's legit.
And I know, but
you got
still,
an apology,
but when you
got an explanation.
It is annoying though when you go to sit down and I'd really try to take notice now because it really is bummer. Can I tell you one more thing that's annoying to me?
Please.
And you're going to be like, yeah, of course it's annoying to you.
All right.
Slow walkers.
So with that, some people can't help but be slow walkers. That to me is
Move to the far right then.
Of the far right
Whatever
lane?
It is. The lane,
At the mall?
aisle, whatever you are, move to the far right if you are going to meander.
That is
because
true.
I am on a mission when I walk, and I know I walk at a pretty brisk
You walk
pace.
fast. You can try to describe it in a way that makes it sound like you walk fast. You're a fast walker. And a bit of a stomper too. I'll say that much.
Yeah,
I used to be able to hear you coming from your office all the way to the studio. It'd start quiet.
It's a very
It's a
purposeful walk.
It is a purposeful walk, and usually it made me think, "What have I done now?" Because it sounds like I'm in trouble, and I usually was in trouble with something.
You are no, you were not.
The thing we were talking about yesterday that we wanted to get into and didn't have time for, that we moved to today, is how do you feel about getting older?
Yeah. So when I was in San Antonio, this is I have to preface this by saying we're a very close knit group of friends. I mean, and so I really enjoy these deeper conversations that we get into.
Okay.
And what Kristen brought up, she's like, I have a question for the group. How do you feel about getting older? And we all had to ponder for a second, like, how do we feel? And of course, the very first thing is what you said. The first thing that came up is
it beats the alternative.
That's
yes.
right.
Aging or in the ground. So
Right.
I'll go with aging. But I think it changes. And I was talking with, we have worked with people that were younger than us. And
a lot.
Right. And in the company that I own, I've got some people that I've hired that are 23, 24, 25 years old. I don't think that at that point in life you can really recognize. It's one thing we're all aging from the time that we're born, right? But it's one thing when you're not only aging, but also getting closer to that day that there's fewer days ahead than behind.
And
for
Pat
me.
says that. Pat's like,
Yeah.
I have more years behind me than I do ahead of me. And that's just a fact of life. He's in his mid-50s. And even if he has great genes, at best it's...
I've never seen him in his jeans, but I've only seen him. That was terrible. Sorry.
Terrible.
So yeah, how do you feel about getting older? What about you? I mean, if it's
I feel like I'm looking forward to the years ahead because I'm looking forward to traveling more with Pat and having more free time when I retire. And while I'm not excited at all at this moment for my two girls to have babies, I am looking forward to being a grandparent.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, I'm excited. There's still so much I have to do on this earth. So there's that, right? You're aging, and so you better get to it.
Right.
But yeah, there's a lot I'm looking forward to. How about you?
I think I feel the same way because there is a mental adjustment, and I was talking with Kent Phillips about this. He called yesterday. Our old friend Kent Phillips from Kent and Allen. Yeah. Because I'm a few years away from retirement if I wanted to. Right.
Yes.
That's not. I mean, from an age standpoint, you hear it a lot. You hear it all the time. You look way younger than you are, which is great. And I get the same thing. But the fact is, the body is the age that it is, and it lets you know on a regular basis.
That came up in our conversation, the aches and the pains and the brain fog and the sight, the vision stuff.
Yesterday, we had a really nice sunny day here, and Dana and I took a little time to sit out in the backyard and just, the birds are, making their bird noises and the dogs walking around. I was like, you know what? This is pretty stinking cool.
Yeah.
Just, and I know, you're just being lazy. But no, I mean, those moments, they kind of clear your head. You can sort of get, readjusted and whatnot. But yeah, I think that, you know what? I'll put it like this. I think, and this goes out to young people, I think it would be extremely challenging to be a young person these days.
Oh, you know what, Curt? That's funny you say that. That also came up. Kristen was like, I know for a fact that I would not want to be growing up in today's world.
Yeah, it feels.
I would not want to be an adolescent or even in your 20s growing up in today's world. But also, this is what they're used to. This is their normal.
The reality,
and
right.
so that's what they're navigating. And so I'm sure our parents said the same thing about when we were growing up and so on. Lou, who is Kristen's husband, he is used to be my girl's principal at their elementary school, Mr. D.
Mr. D.
Yeah, he is the coolest guy, full of wisdom. And he's always so thoughtful. I said, you need to start your own podcast because you have so many great things. But he said, younger people worry so much. And he said, and I was guilty of this, worrying about my future self. I was always worried about my future self. When in reality, there is no guarantee about your future self.
This is
There's
true.
Zero guarantee about the future. So try to stay focused on the here and now and be present and be mindful about what's around you right now and who you are right now, because that will become your future self, but don't worry about that person.
Right.
Don't
and
worry
living in
about
the moment.
That
and
yes.
it's very difficult for me as well. And this may have, I don't know what this has. I think it had to do with my approach, which was not a deliberate thing, but so we're in radio forever, which a friend of mine joked, it's like, it's perfect for you. You get to push a button every 3.5 minutes, like that was, it was like this, or 4 minutes or, 7 minutes if it was a Zeppelin
the
song.
Right.
So it's, and Dana will even say this to me. My wife will even say this to me. You need to just forget about, I guess I approach everything with, okay, that's done. What's next? So we're at the concert. Okay, made it to the concert. What's next? And that's just, and it's like, no, just enjoy being in the now. And that's a challenge for myself. And I think some people, you think, that's just dumb.
It's a challenge for me because what my job was as promotions and marketing director, we've already basically lived that part. Today's been planned like 3 months ago, and I'm, 3 months ahead.
Right.
So you have to just really be mindful about being present. And you know what I would also say, Curt?
Oh, I know what you would say.
Finding joy.
Finding joy.
So we've talked about this.
Looking at a Funko doll of joy.
From the movie Inside Out.
Yeah.
So Joy, the Funko Pop Joy, sits in my bathroom, and she is something that I look at every day as a reminder, my visual reminder of find the joy.
Now,
there is joy around you. Find joy.
Countered with...
This is Kurt's. This one's Kurt's.
Well, this is Dana's. All right, because we did enjoy the movie. Absolutely.
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
Inside Out. If you haven't seen it, the second one's coming out soon.
And I think that Dana just felt for sadness. So there's sadness.
Well, I saw sadness on your shelf the day after we got laid off from our job, and this affected me. You're like, this is radio, sister. Welcome to radio. Because
we'll be fine.
This is the first time that I've ever been let go.
Well,
I've worked, I worked at those 3 radio stations, Como, KVI, KPLZ for over 30 years, right?
Did you have any other jobs in your life?
Dating. I mean, I was a newspaper deliverer. I was a babysitter. I worked at a medical clinic. Like little jobs here and there for the summer or whatever. But in college, right out of the chute, well, not right out of the chute, sophomore year.
Internship at
KPLZ. And then I worked on the Z team. So I was with that station since, fall quarter of my sophomore year of college.
Which you should know, that is really an amazing accomplishment. I thought my 22 years there was something, but yeah. Anyway, so
I was very, very to my core sad. And I'm like, oh my God, you have sadness. This is what really is all about. And what did you say to me?
And this is important, that sadness saves the day. Because when Dana first got that, I was like, why wouldn't you get joy? You're a joyous person. You know what? Sadness saves the day. And she felt bad for sadness. But in the movie, she does save the day.
Saves the
and
day.
I actually made Jen say that. She's like, can I borrow your sadness? I want to get a picture of both of them. And I was like, well, as long as you admit that sadness saves the day. And she's like, oh, I guess she does.
Yeah. I'm going to get teary.
That's all right. Joy and sadness Funko dolls.
Here's the thing. I think the lesson is there's a purpose for every emotion. I mean, if you're being mindful about your emotions, there's a reason for them. And so pay attention to them, work through them, move through them.
Right.
Because they're going to show up, and don't ignore them, because if you ignore them, they're just going to come up bigger and worse.
Right. And the other emotions from the movie were anger, concern. Was it concern or worry?
Worry. I think it was worry.
And then what was the girl
Which one?
She was dismissive and she didn't care about anything. Disgust. Yeah, disgust.
I told my when the girls were teenagers. Macy now too. Disgust. That's
Don't be disgust.
Yeah. And the new movie's going to have some new emotions in there, like anxiety and all that. I cannot wait to see it. Yeah. So
tomorrow.
Anyway, yeah.
Are we ready for tomorrow?
No.
I am ready for tomorrow.
Okay. What's tomorrow?
Do you see? I'm going to show this. Do you see what that is? Do you know what that is?
It looks like a dirty sock.
It is a sock. It's not dirty. This is, and I know you can't see this if you're not watching.
It's a black sock.
I found this yesterday when I was folding the clothes.
Socks. Yeah.
Because now that I'm a stay-at-home husband or whatever I am for the time being.
And dad of dog.
And I was like, what is this? And Dana's like, well, that's a sock. It's like, that is not a sock. That's like 2 inches long.
It's...
Honestly, I was like, how do I fold this thing?
I know what this is, so we can talk about that. Exactly. I'm going to talk about exactly what that is, because I know what it is. And you're like, sock. There's a rubbery thing on it, and I know what that's for.
I was like, this is not a sock.
So please do join us tomorrow. That's the way we can grow. And I will just mention this very quickly. Breakfast Club.
Oh, yeah.
The Curt and Jen in the Morning Breakfast Club happening on Saturday in Lakewood, Washington. It's the Tacoma area of Washington State at Burr's Restaurant.
Looking forward to it. 7:30 on Saturday.
And if you want to be part of it, shoot us a quick email or instant message us on any of the social platforms, TikTok, Instagram, or
It's a
Facebook.
long email. It's Curt with a C. Curt and Jen with one N. Curt and Jen in the morning at gmail.com.
We would love to hear
from you. Get a
from
shorter
you.
one here before too long. Okay?
Thank you. Make good choices. Find joy and spread kindness. Thanks for listening.
We'll talk to you tomorrow.